Hey, folks. So, exciting news. Um, Still on track to close the end of the month on this house. And I took a house slash land hunting trip out to where I want to move from Monday through Wednesday of last week. And I put an offer in on 7.25 acres. And finally, after a lot of nonsense from the sellers, uh, I have a signed contract effective as of, let's see, 2 hours ago. So I am under contract, and that one we can close on quickly. They actually can, the title companies can move quickly on that one, even though they're taking a long time on most, because we're going to use the same one that these people used when they bought it a year and a half ago. So they don't have to do all the stuff as much as they would have. So they can be ready to close in 7 days, which is before I'm ready, because I don't close for another 9 days, 10 days. Um, and I won't be out there until December 3rd, the night of December 3rd, which is a Friday. So I can't close till the second week in December, but we'll be closing on that property on the second week in December, assuming nothing happens on any delays or anything that might happen on the sale of this house. But I don't expect that. So it looks like I'm going to close 1 week on this house and the next week on the new property. It's a nice place. Got a creek, spring-fed creek that runs diagonally, then kind of splits the property in two. I went a little smaller than I was going to because I kind of came to grips when I went out to look at these properties. I was like, I've owned property before, and it's a lot of work. Even when you got nothing on them, no animals, no nothing, it's a lot of work. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I don't want to have to take care of 20 acres of land. So I went smaller, 7.25. It works for me. Uh, on a nice country road, met one couple that's a neighbor across the road. They seem pretty nice. Gorgeous trees everywhere, a lot of oaks, a lot of pines I can cut down for lumber, for building the buildings, and because the spring is the creek is spring fed, it's very clear, um, so it's awesome. Uh, Now, funny stories, two of them where Bob fucked up twice in the same day. Um, so I had already driven by this place the previous day, but I wanted to go and walk it, so I waited to have my real estate agent with me for that. So this was the very last property. I had narrowed it down to four finalists, and this was on the finalist list. And I had two properties, just land, and I had two possible houses. And so this was going to be the determining factor, and then I was going to make a decision between the four of them. And like the one house had 4 acres on, it was a house on 4 acres, needed a lot of work, the house, and the other house was like something that was like out of left field for what I was looking for, but it was just such an interesting house, and it had a place where I could work on the cars on the property as well. So I seriously considered doing it, but I finally decided on this one when we went. We go there, we go to look at it, we drive in. There's like there's like two driveways. Now, before I tell the story, it was my fault. We thought that was the property, not my real estate agents. It's very hard to tell raw land from raw land. So we pull in, and they had two driveways, one right and one left, and it looked like a circular drive that was in the center of it. It had a tree stand, so it looked like the driveways basically disappeared behind the trees. Couldn't see anything back there. So we parked in the front there. We walk up the one side. It's already got stone down in the driveway and everything. And I get about halfway up the driveway, and I realized this was going to be it, but I wanted to see the rest of it, so we go walking. And I knew there was supposed to be a creek on the property, but I didn't see one anywhere. But they told us we might not see it because it was be covered by trees, and I wasn't about to walk back in the woods just to see a creek. It was kind of a bonus. And so as we were walking out, I told my real estate agent I'm ready to make an offer. This is the one. Told her how much. Let's go back to the office, kind of thing. And so we get in our car. I'm parked. My car's parked in front of the right hand driveway. Her car is parked more towards the left hand driveway. So she backs out, but I get the bright idea. I'm going to go and drive up since it's got nice driveway and everything. I'm going to drive up and circle around and whatever. Well, the left hand driveway was done. The right hand driveway was not. And I drive up and I get to this one point and I see the vegetation just kind of sink down in front of the truck. And this happened in a split second. And I see a ridge with a tire track on it where somebody else got stuck, and immediately I went plunk. I found the only mud hole on the entire property. And I have a two-wheel drive truck that could not get out. So I had to call a tow truck, have him winch me out, and it cost me $100. So that was the first fuck up I did. And then uh, so we put the offer in and everything, and I got a really good deal on the property. They were asking originally 70,000, then they dropped it about 5,000 about a month, a little about 5 weeks ago. I offered 55, figuring that they would come back at 60. They didn't even counter offer; they took the 55. So I'm like, cool. So I get home, and I'm exhausted from the 3 days of doing nothing but running around, and I didn't eat all that much while I was out there because I was driving constantly, looking at properties. And I get a couple hours sleep, and I kind of wake up and I can't sleep, so I'm like, I'll go look at the property now that I have been there and I can kind of look at stuff. And I pull up the real estate listing, and they had really good pictures of everything, and I start looking at them, and one of the pictures they have is the one that has the little boundaries around that are approximate around where the property is. And there's two houses, one on next to each other, directly across the road. And I realized that the property we looked at is not the property I made the offer on. It's the one next door. So, you know, most people might be upset about that. I wasn't because I actually saw some of the property from the other property, and it's the same types of trees, same terrain. It actually is better, in my opinion, because I have the creek. Most of the creek on my side of the road is on my property. The one property next to me has a little piece of it, and that's about it. I have most of it. So, um, and they had cleared a spot where they were going to build their house, and I didn't like where the spot was. It was too close to the road, so it was a lot. It was like a couple acres worth of land, so that's a lot of trees I can't use for building stuff because they're already cut down. Well, the property I actually am buying doesn't have the trees all cut down like that. It's got a little clearing in the front, but that I need that anyway for, like, if I get a travel trailer and park it in there while I'm working or whatever. So no, I'm not unhappy, and I didn't cancel the deal, and I could have. I have a clause in there that I can quit. I can cancel the contract the first 10 days after it's fully signed for no reason whatsoever, and I get all my money back except for $25. So, but no, I'm under contract. I want to close, and it's a beautiful piece of property. What I'll do is at the end of this, I will go ahead and I've got some pictures from the real estate listing. I'm going to block out the there's a satellite view one that has kind of the outline of the property, and you can see where the creek goes, where they drew over where the creek is, which will be in blue, and then they got kind of red for the outline. Um, Not because I care if anybody in the group sees where I live, but in case somebody else sees it on YouTube, I don't want people knowing where I live. So Sorry, folks, but my friends will know where I'm at. Um, anyway, and plus my Facebook friends will see me change my location on Facebook instead of Fort Worth or Keller or whatever it says now. Um, so I'm very excited. I got a lot of work to do in the next 10 days to get this place ready, all packed up. Got to line up some storage units because I'm not going to be taking all of the stuff with me. I got 7 cars I'm going to have to move out there over time. I've got a lease on a shop out here that is for the. I've still got that for the next 9 months, so I don't have a huge rush. But unfortunately, I also don't have enough room in there for my furniture and shit. So I'm gonna have to pay some extra for some storage units for a little while. But it's time, and I'm glad, and you know, I'm shopping for like backhoes and shit now. So I'll probably be starting up that channel on YouTube pretty soon. Get that going, and I'll go into more detail there about like the process and everything, and if people are interested in that. Um, and obviously, I'll be filming like once I get out there. I'm going to do a final walkthrough, like you would on a house, but it's the property, so I'll actually get to look at it before I close on it. I did see it. I just didn't realize that's what it was. Um, so it's on a nice little country road that's maybe like a half mile long, and mine's almost at a dead end, at the dead end. So I think there's one for sure. I think there's 2 properties in between me and the very dead end, and at the very dead end there's a little country cemetery, um, which doesn't creep me out at all. So you know, so I can have a spring-fed pond because you need a pond on a piece of property in the country because there's no fire hydrants. So the fire company would use that to like draw the water from to put out a fire if you ever had a fire. Um, so I think I'm going to do a spring-fed one, which will be cool because it'll keep the water moving, and it's not going to just be stagnant. It also should be much clearer. So that'll be cool. But yeah, 7 1/4 acres works for me. It's plenty of land for one guy, and uh, I'm looking forward to getting going on. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to start building stuff right away because it's gonna be too damn cold. But I at least can start accumulating equipment and get a travel trailer set up and get like the power put in, get the water hooked up. I've already talked to those companies, and like to get water hooked up is only going to cost me a small amount of money, and it only takes about 4 weeks. Um, on the electric, I don't know because I think that's about four to 6 weeks once I sign up, and then they have to have an engineer come out and see where I want the electric to go and all that stuff, and then they give me a price and a time frame for sure. So I'm gonna get all that stuff hooked up ahead of time. I'll get a quote from a septic guy for putting in a septic system and see what that would cost. And I don't have that cleared yet, so I can't really have the septic system put in yet. The water, they just hook it up to the meter, and then I can run it anywhere I want anyway. So um, doesn't matter. And then I'll probably just put a powerhouse out front uh, where they can run the meter to, and then I'll have a box there, and then later on I'll run lines to where I want it to go on the property. But I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of almost at a loss for words. I'm glad they finally signed the damn contract. They were such a nitpicky pain in the ass couple. I mean, they tell me, okay, within an hour of me putting the offer in, I'm on the drive home. I signed the papers and I left the office at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. At about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a call from a real estate agent expecting her to tell me, well, they counter offered. They accepted your offer. Okay, well, apparently, neither them or the real estate agent for them read the contract. Because the next day they start trying to nitpick at little shit. And I'm like, no, 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 no. We have a handshake. So we're not negotiating on big things. If something's wrong, like we filled out something wrong, that's different. We'll fix it. We did a couple of those. But they want to start renegotiating the terms. I'm like, no. So we agreed finally we would change the title company so we could get it done faster, which was, I wanted that anyway, so that was no problem. But I mean, I'll get into that on the channel. I don't want to talk about it all over again now and have it ruin my buzz because I'll relive it all over again and it pissed me off. But anyway, we are good to go. All I got to do is electronically send them a check to the title company because I made it out to the other title company before I left and I left it with them. So now I got to get them a different check to a different title company for the same amount of money, and we'll rip up the old check and so be it. So anyway, I'm under contract going through two real estate transactions simultaneously, which if anybody's gone through them, there's always bullshit to deal with. So I got to deal with double the bullshit, in addition to trying to get 10 years worth of shit packed up that I've accumulated in addition to my normal stuff. So anyway, till next time, I'll add in those pictures. I'll add in those pictures after this, but till next time.